Welcome to the Soulcast and Energy Report for August. I'm super excited to be with you guys and share with you what's coming through for this month. If you're new to me, my name's Dawn L. I am an embodied soul leadership mentor, and I basically see everything through the lens of the soul and how we can bring all that energy in and really deeply connect to ourselves and lead from that place. This energy report is designed to help you see the different kind of ways the cosmos wants to work with you. It's like kind of like how it wants to dance with you energetically. It's not an astrology report. I'm not an astrologer. I know a lot about astrology. It's one of my favorite pastimes and hobbies to read about, but this is not based on astrology. There's a little bit of it, maybe like flavors of it, but it's definitely more about the energy and how your soul can best navigate this time. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and see what the energy for August is overall. And what I do, if you're new to me, is I pull a card for the month that is going to kind of cast a light on the energy. And then every week, starting on a Monday, we'll pull the card for that week so you know the theme and the energy of what's going to be playing out. So let me begin. And I don't know about you, I'm so excited to kind of dive into this month because there has been so much talk about how there's some astrology influences playing out that haven't happened in over 15 years. There's kind of a change of era, kind of change of energy, changing of the guard, if you will, this first week of August. So there's this feeling that because, we're in this, there's a lot of the Taurus North Node energy, Taurus ruling the physical body, the planet, our food supplies, all that kind of stuff, money, resources, that there's just hopefully I see it as like what changes can be made that would help innovate and take us further with all that stuff. So there's just a big energy with that, but let me start to get into the energy for August and see what we got. Can't make this up. So we got the Tower card. In this deck, it's called Disruption. And so you may see this card and be like, ooh, yikes. But you know what? I actually see this as a positive. This card always can have such a positive influence. So first I'm going to start with the meaning of this card and how it's going to kind of color and emphasize the month. So I love to use this analogy for this specific card whenever it comes up in any of my channeling sessions. Basically, I always think of, they're probably not doing it as much anymore in Vegas, but in Las Vegas, whenever they were going to put up a new hotel and casino, if they were going to be tearing down the old one, they would have to blow it up so it falls to the ground and then put the new one up, right? So this is about what's the new and improved thing that wants to come up in your life. This is an energy of not holding on for dear life, not trying to prevent movement. This is about realizing that what has been unstable or shaky foundation that has, that you've built your life upon, this month is an opportunity to create a super firm foundation. But if you're someone who doesn't like change, you may find this to be very uncomfortable for you, okay? And I think if you follow my reports, I'm talking about every single month how we're meant to build resiliency, how we're not supposed to cling to the old, how the way to really have the most agency in our lives is to trust the process of what life is doing, how it's shifting things, how it's moving things. So this is a big movement, action-oriented month, okay, for August. This means too that 16 is a number of soul lessons. And so maybe some of the things that you've been preparing and working on for quite some time from a soul perspective snap into place. if you've been on this path of maybe shifting things and wanting to really, you were working on aligning with your soul, this is the month that you're going to deeply see things come to fruition. You're going to have the realization of, oh, wow, I've been working and moving in this direction, and now the road starts to appear clearly in front of you. So this is also a releasing of the past. We can't embrace the future and where we're going if we're still clinging to old stories and beliefs. So I have a feeling with this, energy that this is a little bit more forced. So if you haven't been doing the work, if you've been clinging to something that is no longer resonant with where you're going, you may find the carpet gets ripped out from underneath you. You may feel like there's a lot of roadblocks and a lot of resistance. And so if you're facing those things, those challenges, instead of feeling defeated by it, or why am I failing at this, the better question, the reframe for the month is, Divine, show me the new direction that I need to be going in. Show me the more highly aligned vision for what you want me to implement and integrate, even more so than I've already been doing. So staying in the curiosity and the question of what's next, how can I be doing this, is going to help you bring forward that new foundation, the new energy. So I'm also feeling the energy I'm seeing in our throat chakras, how you lead yourself and how you lead other people. This is I don't know why they're giving me this image of a construction site. And if there's a lot of debris and a lot of things that you could trip over, or a lot of just kind of things that you haven't cleaned up in your ability to lead yourself, this is going to be a profound and very potent month to do so. You can't clearly express yourself when you haven't cleaned up your side of the street, if you will, or cleaned up your backyard, however you want to say it. So this is a month where clearing energy is going to be so important. So what I mean by that is, what do you need to accept? What do you need to let go of? And what do you need to forgive in order to feel free and liberated? Because Uranus is in this energy this month, and there's an Aquarius new moon, or full moon, I'm sorry, later this month. And it's asking us to really find the freedom within ourselves. And you can only do that when you're not being tied down by the past and all these old feelings and vendettas or anger or grief. Grieving is great, is part of the process. I don't want to say that grieving, but if you are still grieving a situation that has expired and you're still holding on to it and going, why didn't this work out for me, or why didn't this happen? It kind of feels like Spirit's saying to everybody, it's time to grow up. It's time to be the adult version of yourself. It's time to handle your trauma. It's time to stop hurting people because you haven't done the work on yourself. So there's a little bit of a grown-up energy to this, of stop playing the victim of your life, take ownership and responsibility for where you can do better, because Spirit wants to pull us forward. I really feel like there's this kind of rush of energy, it's like a big, if you're in a river and it's just flowing, and are you going to allow the ways that you haven't let go of the past to be these big rocks that are blocking the path, and so the water has to move through all these rocks and all this debris in order to get where it wants to go? Or do you want to be a clear vessel to receive the movement and the changes that you desire? Because that's what this is about. So it's about, really, so I see the throat chakra. I always see different chakras being activated. And this month is how do you lead yourself? And how can you be the most potent expression of who you are? And that means knowing thyself. There is no longer time to, if you want to be the leader that you're meant to be, this is, it's about showing up. It's showing up for yourself, having a clear message, being able to love all of yourself so that you can love your neighbor, because right now the other piece, and then I'm going to start going into the week stuff, is the divisiveness and all the fear mongering and all the things that are happening in the collective are meant to dilute your power. And if you haven't seen that yet, it's time to see that. It's time to realize that there is the divisiveness creates a fog that blinds you to the truth. It's like you're so you have to start to use your spidey senses, your ability to intuit what is truly happening in reality, and not rely just on, the media and different things that are trying to create this huge divide. This is a time to really wake up. And so anything that's keeping you from that, anything that's you're still attached to the old paradigms, it's gonna move away for you. I remember one time years ago, back when I used to be in pharmaceutical sales, and I remember I was talking to one of my intuitive mentors at the time, and she said, if you don't choose to leave your job, the universe is going to find a way to do it for you because it's so out of alignment for you on a soul level. And I remember what does that even mean? And I remember she gave me a very specific date. She's like, by Labor Day. And I was, okay. And I remember Labor Day came and went, and I hadn't done anything about changing up the situation I was in. And sure enough, it was the Tuesday after Labor Day, I get a phone call from one of my higher ups and saying, we're going to have to lay you off and all these things. And it was just so weird because it was I didn't take action, so the universe took it for me. And it was a wake-up call for me because I had been ignoring and not wanting to see the truth of what was really happening. So if you're in that situation in your life where you've been ignoring something or not addressing it because you're too afraid, surrender and open yourself up to all the possibilities that want to move you along the river and take you to your destination. Okay, so that's for the month. How exciting. Okay, so now I'm going to, and this first week of August, I'm going to read it starting today, as a matter of fact, for the first. We're in so much energetics. I'm not going to get into it from an astrology standpoint, but just know that the week might feel a little sticky or crunchy, like it might be a little bit more challenging. I personally feel excited. I feel like, I don't know why. I woke up this morning and I felt this level of excitement and intensity, and like I am being pushed forward. And I don't know, I even felt a sense of celebrating something because I can feel the pinnacle of energy kind of coming together. And I've been working on very specific things in my life, and I can feel the movement. So I just wanted to share that with you because for a lot of you, you'll be feeling that too. You also might be feeling fear because you might be saying, oh, what's going to fall apart? Anything that falls apart, especially if it's in the collective, is meant to fall apart because something new is supposed to take its place. And we have to be moving with that and trusting whatever comes to be. Okay, so the first this week, accelerated motion. So this card is an 8 card. It's a spiritual card. So this card for the first week, I love it. I love it. I feel that. I mean, I literally, did I not? I just said that. Hey, Rochelle, I literally was just saying, oh my gosh, I feel the movement. I feel the intensity. I feel the surge of energy that's trying to propel us forward towards our dreams. She's staring up at the kind of the North Star, that guiding force of your life, your soul purpose, your bigger why. And if you've been feeling a little bit disenchanted with things and kind of like heavier because of the collective energetic dynamic right now, this card asks you to align with your inner knowing and truth. You can't serve the world if you're so pulled in different directions and believing what everybody else is saying or diluting your power through fear. So this card is saying spiritually, armor up. Do your practices. And I don't mean armor up in a bad way. I'm not talking about living from a defended perspective. I'm talking about how you can use your spiritual tools. And if you haven't seen it, I did a whole video last week because I felt like everybody was going to need a spiritual routine. And so I literally, go to my YouTube channel, and I did a whole video on my spiritual routine and what helps me stay really aligned and grounded. And this is the card that's saying, make sure that you ground your physical body, be connected to nature, trust that you are being divinely supported. And if you believe in a higher power, which if you know me or don't, doesn't matter, I do. And it's a guiding force in my life that allows me to see everything through the lens of love. And so I really feel like this is a card that's saying, align with your higher power on the daily. This is, an opportunity to connect to your higher self. And one of my favorite things to do, I was just thinking about this morning because I invest so much in my mentors and different things that I do for my business and all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking, sometimes not sometimes, all the time, the best information comes from my higher self. And then I like to talk to my mentors about it and say, hey, I got this idea, this inspiration. And what do you think about this? And I always wind up coming back to my own power. Some of you aren't used to doing that. Some of you are used to going outside of yourself to look for validation. You're still wanting to people please. You're still caught up in a program of wanting to to be liked and accepted. And so wanting to fit into the societal norm. The invitation this week is, what would it look like to trust your heart and your inner truth a little bit more each day? And then asking your higher self for anything in your life. Where are you stuck? And saying, what is it that I need to do? So imagine in your journal or meditation, what is it that I need to do or know so I can start to move forward in this specific area of my life, even more so than I'm already doing now? Because this is an 8 card. An 8 card is about abundance and power. Life wants to move you forward. But if you're waiting for somebody to give you permission to do that, to activate and move towards your dreams, you might be waiting a long time. And the astrology of this month is action, move, let go of the things that aren't serving you so that you can move forward and feel the speed. When an airplane, oh my gosh, I'm going to say this incorrectly, but when an airplane, there's that kind of rush, sometimes if you're flying somewhere and you can get there a little bit faster because it's in the jet stream or Delta. I can't remember what it is. I'm so bad sometimes about these like little sayings, if anybody knows what I'm just talking about. But it'll propel, like it's like almost like the airplane's going to get there faster because it's working in conjunction with the airflow versus against it, right? That's the same thing with this energy. If you're aligning with your higher self and your truth, you're going to find that things move quickly. For some of you, it's going to feel like you jump timelines. It's going to feel like, oh my God. Like I feel it like a pulse in my body, like almost like a shock, a little bit of like, holy shit, this just happened. Wow, I've been working on this, and it's like a door just opened and you jump timelines. It's like that thing, you move. And so that for some is, it's a cause of celebration. It's a cause of celebration. It's a quantum leap because you've been building towards this energy for a while. Hey, Chris, it's good to see you. And so it feels, like a launch, launching forward for sure. And when you are quantum leaping, right? Hey, Lena, when you're quantum leaping, what do you tend to want to do, right? You might feel wobbly, a little bit scared. Oh my gosh, things are changing so fast. How do I keep up with it? What am I going to do? that's why you have to be spiritually rooted this week. Because if things are shifting quickly for you, which I hope so, because that means you're on path, right? Then do your work to be connected to nature, to the earth, to be rooted into, this physical body needs earth, needs healthy food, water, all the things to take care of it. And then have your spiritual connection. So I imagine this gorgeous pillar of light, from your root down to the earth, and then from your heart up to the heavens, right? Just like heaven and earth meeting in your heart and feeling that connection of like, oh my God, things may be moving fast and things are exciting. And I can do this because I have been working on this. The thing with manifestation, quantum leaping, all this kind of stuff, what tends to happen is people feel like they can't hold the frequency of the new. So my invitation to you is do the things so you can hold the frequency, because then you can ground in and integrate this new thing, and continue to ask your higher self, how do I hold this? What do I do? And trust your guidance. Maybe you want to talk to your guides. I personally love to talk to my higher self, which I feel like, and this is just a theory from my perspective, just to share it with you guys. I feel like my divine support team is the compilation of my higher self, different lifetimes I've lived. And so I can, go to my higher self and kind of get the collective energy of my guides. For some of you, you might be like, no, my guides are something different, but it doesn't matter. That's just my opinion on it. So I like to go to my higher self or God, source, and just say, well, what's up? So this is your week. This is your week. There's going to be lots of action, lots of things. It might scare you, but it's scary in a good way. It's exciting. And if the change does feel disruptive, I teach a whole program called the Disruption Plan, and there's a reason. And I was literally writing about this earlier. When you future something, if you've been asking the universe for something, anything that is in the way of that is prohibiting you from attaining that thing or being in that energy, is going to rise up to the surface so it can be moved or shifted. So instead of being afraid of that, trust the process. Trust the process this week. So, okay, let me look at the 8th and see what's coming through for us. I literally curled my hair, you guys, because I was like, oh, I want to look nice for you guys. I know that sounds ridiculous, but because sometimes I'm in yoga pants and clothes, and I curled my hair, and it's so humid in San Diego. My hair just went boop. It's so funny. Okay, so the 8th, what do we have going on? Let's see. Oh, Rochelle, you're so sweet. Thanks, love. Lena, it's so good to see you. Okay. Oh, oh my God. The card just fell out of my hand. That was hilarious. The devil card. Dun, dun, dun. Temptation in this deck. Yummy. Yummy. Okay. So, thanks, Lena. What do we do when we have a devil on our shoulder and an angel on the other one, right? So, angel, your divine guidance, your higher self. Devil, your ego, your subconscious programming, your past. So what happens when everything's shifting? Because I said the card for the month is the Tower card. So then you get this card of the devil coming in, your ego saying, I don't know if I can do this. I'm scared. Or, oh my gosh, there's so much shift. How do I go about this? So this is a week to be super, super mindful of your stories and the things and the programs that want to root you and anchor you to the past. I'm really getting a feeling for this week that we have to really trust the information of our intuition, our third eye. Being able, it feels like this week is, I get such a psychic perception for this week that it's really important to create time, to continue to create time, to journal, to meditate, to receive your psychic information, intuitive information, whatever you want to call it. But I see the third eye is very activated. For some of you, you're going to have, it's interesting the word they want me to use, a resurrection of truth, which means there's a deep opportunity to clear out old ancestral programs and childhood wounding, which would allow you to remember your psychic spidey senses. And because of that, it may feel kind of like you just brought back something that has been dormant inside of you for quite some time. If you already are attuned to your psychic senses, this is going to be a week for you where you might be a little extra sensitive. You might receive more. You might get some really amazing downloads for anything that you're working on, or inspiration. But this is the thing with this, is if we have this Devil card, it doesn't want us to trust this intuitive sense. And if you're new to me and you're not, like if you're full on mainstream and you're like, what is she talking about? I'm going to make this really simple. There's practical, intellectual knowledge that you may have in this week. You're going to pick up a lot of other type of data, information that may not be logical, where you're like, I have this feeling that this is going down or this is happening, but I don't have any proof. And are you willing to trust your inner knowing over what somebody else may say to you? That's your choice. What I will say to you is, if you are willing to trust it, not only is it going to get stronger, but you're going to be rewarded. You're going to feel as if you're receiving some really loving information that is going to make you feel very supported and grounded and able to move through some of the things that are happening in the collective. There might be some revelations this week. There might be some things that are being learned that were not known before. And I think the key with this is, and this feels more like collective stuff, is that you might be like, is this true or not? And so this is where we have to really kind of go, is this nonsense or what's happening here? It feels like there's a line in the sand being drawn, and I don't know what that means, where you're either going to like fall for it or not. You're either going to be like, this is a bunch of nonsense, or really trust that whatever is being exposed or revealed more in the collective, or maybe it's even in your personal life, that you see the truth, you know the truth, and that you're not going to just go for that. The other piece from a more practical perspective too is that when we're trying at any point in our life to feel grounded, when there's a lot of change, the part of our brain, the reptilian part of our brain that is wired for survival, will want to keep you in fear and tax your nervous system. And so what I'm really getting for this is, in your own level of discernment, asking yourself very simple questions of, is this coming from like an ancient, like, is this from my past, or is this who I really am right now? Because I don't know if you experience this, but whenever I get triggered, I have to really listen to the voice and like what's being said. If I don't just like let it keep running on autopilot, I literally stop and go, what is it saying to me? And I listen. In my coaching practice, one of the things I always do with people is I really listen to what they're saying. And a lot of times they'll say things that aren't congruent with who they are right now. And that's how I always know, like, oh, that's from their mom, or that's from their dad, or that's from an ancestor. I want you to do the same work on yourself. I don't want you to believe everything that your mind is telling you, because it wants to stop you in your tracks. It doesn't want you. It's almost kind of like you can't grow to and elevate to the levels that you want if you're still buying into the bullshit of your subconscious mind. There's 66,000 thoughts per day, and only 3,000 of them are conscious. So this is your opportunity to kind of poke holes and be like, wait a second, did I just say that if I don't make my next sale this month, I'm going to be homeless? Homeless? Like, why would I be homeless? Like, I have family. Like, really listen to what you're saying. Because a lot of times it's not even yours. And you could imagine that if you really want to do the work and clear that, I could do a whole masterclass on this. You would imagine whatever ancestor, whoever you're holding this loyalty or this oath for that hasn't done the work to heal in your ancestral lineage, you could just imagine saying, I honor you, I respect you, I give this back to you. This is not mine to hold. But you have to be willing to slow down and listen to yourself, and not just be on autopilot and going into all your fear and letting your survival part of your brain get activated. And then it's like you just go on autopilot and you don't even know what the fuck you're doing, excuse my language. And then you're just kind of repeating the past. So if you're willing to make shifts and changes, this is a very powerful week to see beyond the illusion of your subconscious, to step into deeper knowing of yourself, and to really, really clear some deeply programmed root chakra stuff, survival stuff. Because you're going to see people, this is the other thing I get, is you're going to see people in the collective very triggered in survival, maybe because of the stuff that's happening with the recession and maybe food stuff, and people are going to be like, oh my God, what's happening? And they're going to go crazy. And on some level, they already are. People are already in fear. You can see people are kind of like starting to get in that fear mode again. You don't have to go there. You can still create massive abundance during this time. You get to rise above it, but only if you're aware of how you yourself contribute to the collective when you're in your triggered self, right? And how you don't have to be part of that movement. You get to be part of the movement that is of abundance and choosing to stay grounded and move in different ways than everybody else. Like, I'm not here to coach people to be part of like society and go with all their beliefs and stuff. I'm here to tell you there's another way. There's another way. And this week is going to really task you in that, but give you this incredible opportunity to like really be like, oh my God, I don't have to do that. I get to stay in my own energy, and I get to surround myself with the people, my soul fractal, that also knows that, yet this is just another, sometimes it's like, these are just like, kind of spiritual tests of like, how strong can we be within ourselves? How can we be mindful of what we contribute to the collective? Okay. Let me just look at this little quick comment. Yeah, a lot of times, Lena said extreme fear wasn't yours. That's the thing, you guys, is really checking in with yourselves. Is this my fear? Because if you're not paying attention to your thoughts and you're just on autopilot, you can miss it. But like, if you really slow down and be like, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking? Okay, this is the thought. Maybe write it down. And then first thing, is this mine or somebody else's? Is this mine or somebody else's? Well, maybe it's somebody in the collective. Maybe it's somebody from your past, your ancestry. No, this isn't mine. And then just ask intuitively. Everybody's intuitive. Is this something maybe from my family, or is this something from the collective? Could be a combo. And just start to move the energy. Breathe. Take deep breaths. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to hold on to this. This isn't mine. Clearing the past and programming, I'm going to go deeper into in my Futuring course that I'm going to be teaching here soon. So if you're interested in learning more, I go really into so much more depth with it. But let's get into the week of the 15th and see. There's a full moon that week. We have the full moon on the 11th, which is going to be in Aquarius, which is all about, you know, Leo. The energy that we're in right now is all about leadership from the individual. Aquarius is leadership for the collective. It's like taking your gifts and what you know to be true about yourself and then putting that into the collective to see change. And so that new moon, or I'm sorry, full moon will ask for us to really see the contribution that we're making. And you're already in that week before where you're looking at that. Okay, so the 15th. Let's I swear to God. Conflict and defeat. Poor guy. He's like, I'm freaking tired of this. I'm tired of the changes. How do I do this? And I don't know why, but like you can tell just from how I'm saying it, we have to have humor. We have to lighten up. And just know that a lot of the changes that are happening, reminding yourself this is for the best. I don't need to feel defeated. I don't need to feel tired. Like this to me feels like people are just kind of tired. They're tired. They're feeling like there's just a lot of change. And in that change, this feels kind of like the change has already happened. Now you're picking up like it's almost like as if the tower card, like how I say in Vegas, if the casino went down and now you're like picking up the rubble and you're moving the rubble out, you're moving out the debris and you're really like kind of trying to build. But in the moving of the debris and the shifts and the changes, you might feel a little exhausted. You might be like, God, this is tiring. How do I stay kind of on path and focus? And that's why I'm saying this whole month is really about lots of really great, amazing self-care, leading yourself. And I think you're tired. If you're tired this week, it's because there's a better, easier way to do things. And there's also a way for you to reframe whatever's happened. Whatever shifts and changes are happening. If somebody, I feel a little bit like, if there's any conflict, like this feels like there might be a little bit of, like, let's say that something changed and maybe somebody's mad at you for changing, or you're trying to do some healing work and people don't understand. This is an opportunity to like really not take things personally, to understand that you chose to be on this journey and that it's not your job to hold other people's hands because, you know, so many people, when you change, you try and micromanage how other people feel. And this is a week they're saying, don't micromanage other people's energy. Don't worry about that. Focus on yourself and focus on how you can be the best version of you so that you can, you know, show up in all your gifts and help others in the collective. So this feels very much as if you might need a pause, a reset, a kind of slow down of like a energy of like, okay, I'm a little tired from all of this and I don't want the conflict in my life. I don't want I don't want to emotionally disconnect. That's the other thing they're talking about, like emotionally disconnecting because you feel like you've been like hurt or wronged by somebody or something. And so this is a thing of like having emotional mastery, getting neutral, seeing beyond whatever conflict might be playing out in your life and not letting it down you out. I don't know why I keep getting the word relationships, and it might not even be doesn't need to be with a significant other or anything like that. It just feels like any area of your life where there's already, you know, been maybe some friction or rumblings, things might kind of come to a head in the sense that you're like, God, I need to create a new storyline. I need to get neutral. I need to shift this. I need to change this because this is something that's been happening or is going to continue to happen. And if I stay in the energy that I've been in, it's not going to support the situation anymore. So I need to really think about how I can be the elevated version of me in this particular situation, which will allow you to express yourself. This is also a week of being really honest. I hear the word ethics, like having really good ethics, and maintaining control over your emotional state. That's what I'm getting for it. So that's kind of I mean, it's not the most exciting theme, but it's just kind of, you know, as we're changing and growing and evolving, we got to clean up our mess, right? I started by saying this month is about accepting, forgiving, letting go. And this week, it feels like this is the energy where you get to really kind of do some of the work so that you don't feel dragged down or heavy from all the changes that you've been making. It just feels like it's part of the process. Okay, so the 22nd, let me see what comes through. Let's see. I don't know. This is a longer one today, huh? Okay. Same thing. Jesus. I mean, I literally, you see me, I shuffle these decks. I feel I'm gonna do myself a favor too, because I want to feel into something really quick. I'm gonna pull another card for this week as well, which I never do, but for some reason I'm gonna. So it's the throat chakra. Just gives me further confirmation that this is going to be a really important week to speak your truth, to continue to build your future that you desire, to not let little ups and downs, other people's emotions get in the way of where you're heading. This feels kind of like there's a sense of disappointment in the fact that you want things to move forward, but in the moving forward, maybe you're letting go of things, or people are getting hurt in the way of that and having to deal with that. I'm also getting a feeling that you're going to see your future very clearly this week. Like there's a really positive sense of clarity of like, this is happening. Oh my gosh, this is happening. But yet you're still kind of in the change. You know, it's a 5 card. Both of these are 5 cards. So there's just so much change happening. And the reason I feel like the conflict and this one is like, if you don't accept the change, if you don't accept that you've been moving in this direction and you've asked for these changes, but there might be a little bit of a squeeze with the change, then you're going to feel a little bit like, oh gosh, this is hard. You know, this is affecting some of the people around me. And I want this and I'm going to do this thing, but I didn't know there was going to be collateral damage. You might feel the collateral damage this week in the sense that maybe not everybody's happy with the direction you're moving in. Not everybody's excited for you and the changes that you're making because, frankly, they wanted you to stay the way that you used to be. They wanted you to continue to be that past version of yourself. So somebody might be uncomfortable with you. And I guess like the message I really feel so strongly that Spirit is saying this week is, it's okay. It's okay to feel different or feel like you're on a different path than other people. It's okay to want what you want. It's okay to follow your dreams. Don't feel bad about it. And I see you hugging yourself because you're going, oh my gosh, I never dreamed I could get to this point, but I'm here and I gotta like stay the course and I gotta give myself a lot of self-love. So there might be something that you've been working on or towards, or that you're feeling like a lot of movement on, and you might feel really happy or, you know, good about it, but it's still, there's like a little bit of this, it goes back to the Tower card, there's letting go. There's movement, you know, there's things that have to shift in order for you to be this version of yourself or have this thing in your life, or just to go through the changes that are happening in the collective. And I see you just kind of going, oh, I gotta love myself. I gotta remind myself it's okay to break away from society or my family or from this toxic person or from this job. It's okay. I don't have to be like everybody else. I get to love myself through this. And I get to believe in every ounce of my being that the reality that I'm creating is beyond what I can even imagine. you're going to need to remember this, like that the miracles and the things are part of a consciousness of having faith. Because when you're hugging yourself, it's almost like you're kind of weary. You're like, God, I didn't know it was going to be all this work. And I don't mean working as like, you're working 80-hour work week. I mean the work of like accepting that part of life is change. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. And can you love yourself through the changes? Can you continue to trust? Can you continue to feel like even if you're disappointing somebody or letting something go or whatever it may be, that you're on path and that this is what you asked for and this is what you want and this is part of what has to happen. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, that when we are creating a future, the things that aren't aligned with it have to move away and things get shifted and changed. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's there. It's happening because you're moving towards the thing. So you're moving. There you go. Okay, so that's for the 22nd. And then I'm going to do the 29th, which is just a few days, I think, that week. So let's see. It'd be really nice if we could have a little light, easy breezy card, wouldn't it? Oh my God. Seriously. Well, this is light and easy breezy compared to everything that's been coming through so far. I'm just teasing. This is the sacrifice card. So this is, it's the surrender. It's trusting. It's like wrapping up a big month of shifts and changes and saying, oh my God, the easiest way for me to get to all of these things and to be one with all that is just to accept and surrender and just know that I'm being moved forward. And this card, she's coming out of the darkness and into the light, and there's like the rainbows and all that kind of stuff. And this feels very much like we're coming out of like some of the heaviness. We're coming out of the emotions, and we're really kind of just like, okay, I get it. I see why all this has to be this way. I accept it. And I'm willing to stay in the space of trust that all the things that I'm moving towards and are working on in my life are coming together. And I feel like you get to download a little bit of joy, at the end of the month and really be, you should always be, feeling joy, but it feels like there's a sense of joy of, okay, I get it. I accept, and I'm good. And I'm happy with where things are going. And this card, sometimes has to do with putting the hard work in to get to the place that you want to go, just continuing to put in the work, continuing to rebuild, continuing to harness the frequencies that are holding the future that you're creating, that you're starting to see the energy of. From a collective standpoint, I don't know, it feels like there might be a lightning this week of energy. Maybe something makes more sense. Maybe there's some idea of how to move forward on some of the things that have been revealed or been happening over the month. It just feels like there's like, okay, we can do this. So a lot of this energy is collective, but it's also personal in the sense that, everybody's always working through letting go and shifting. But this, you can tell this month is a big month of action, of movement and rebuilding. And the rebuilding part, right, is the new thing. It's the Tower card comes when we're letting go of the old thing, and then the new wants to be, wants to come to fruition. So I would say, on a personal note, your spiritual practice is of utmost importance this month. Taking really good care of yourself, finding the joy, finding the laughter, not taking everything so, seriously, relaxing into all the changes and allowing yourself to move towards the future that you've been creating. And understand that if there's some, I hate to say it, collateral damage for you choosing the reality that you want, you have to, this is like, that's what I'm saying. This is adulting. Like, you've got to be okay with it. You've got to be okay with the fact that you're on your path and you're changing, and you're not meant to always do what everybody else wants you to do. I get this really strong independent sense this month that's going to be a big theme where you're not doing what everybody else wants you to do. Like you're choosing to really find your own vibe, your own way of going about things. And I guess maybe for some of you on a personal level, you're already surrounded yourself with the people that support and love you, and that's great. But for some of you, you might still be kind of trying to do both. And this month that there feels like there's a change where maybe there's something that really a defining thing that says, are you on this side or that side? And I don't like that personally. I don't like people saying, are you on this side or that side? I like to rise above that and be like, no, I'm choosing this. Even that's a choice, right? To say, I'm not going into the divisiveness. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to not be friends with you because you think this way and I think that way. That's really low vibrational energy. So this is a thing of like stepping beyond that. That's what it feels. I hope that helps. I'm going to have to like really digest this one because it does feel, it doesn't feel as easy breezy, light and fun as some of them, but that doesn't mean that there's not other parts of your life that are easy breezy. It's just that there's some themes that each work we get to embody and work with. I'm sending you guys so much love. Have an amazing August. Let me know your thoughts, feedback. And if you haven't caught that YouTube video about the spiritual practice, go to my YouTube channel, Donnell Davis, and check that out. Okay.